serious thesis. Too serious. In fact, it was so serious, we decided not to torture you with it. So instead, we're going to present you with a remix of our video of how the car changed the world. Contrary to popular belief, the automobile was not invented in a single day. The modern automobile reflects an enormous amount of engineering effort. It is estimated that there are more than 100,000 patents involved in the creation of a car. But who was the mastermind behind this mechanical horse, this horseless carriage, this antiquated reference? Both Leonardo da Vinci and Sir Isaac Newton came up with the idea of a motor vehicle, but of course, due to a shortage of combustion engines, they were not able to finish their designs. However, Da Vinci's designs were later recreated for historical significance and because rich people have too much money. In 1769, the very first self-propelled road vehicle was a military tractor invented by French engineer Nicolas Joseph Cugnot. It was used to flee and eventually surrender to German military tractors. Using a steam engine to power his vehicle, Monsieur Cugnot was able to reach the incredible speed of 2.5 miles per hour on 3 wheels. In 1771, Cugnot drove one of his vehicles into a stone wall, making him the very first person to get involved in a motor vehicle accident. This was the inspiration for J.G. Ballard's first draft of Crash. Somewhere between 1832 and 1839, Robert Anderson of Scotland invented the first electric carriage, which used a rechargeable battery that powered a small electric motor. The vehicles were heavy, slow, expensive, and needed to stop for recharging frequently. Clearly, not much has changed. And thanks to German Karl Benz, who received the first patent for a gas-fueled car and designed and built the world's first practical automobile to be powered by an internal combustion engine. Now, leaping forward in time, we come to Henry Ford and his corporation. The Model T, America's car. There were more than 15 million of these vehicles sold before it was ever changed. This car marked the beginning of a new era, an era of mass-producing complicated, affordable goods using a revolutionary technique. Ford's Model T showed the cost and time efficiency of using moving assembly lines. Although the world has been permanently altered by the presence of the car, this would not have come to be without the use of the moving assembly line. Henry Ford established the Highland Park plant in Michigan, which used the moving assembly line to produce the Model T. The plant was comprised of 84 distinct sections. Each worker was taught a very simple task and performed it on the car as it passed on the conveyor belt. The worker remained stationary and the car continued moving along to the next person. This methodology was a huge improvement over the traditional way of producing automobiles, which required several skilled laborers to work on a stationary vehicle. Use of the assembly line slashed the time needed to create a car from 12 hours to 93 minutes. Additionally, the assembly line did not require the use of skilled labor. Before using the assembly line, Ford's car cost $850. After the assembly line, the Model T was nearly 50% cheaper at a mere $440. The combination of maximum time management and comparatively low wages manifested Ford's dream of creating a car for the great multitude. The moving assembly line made it possible for the average worker to afford a vehicle. The Model T epitomized the efficiency and cost-effectiveness of utilizing the assembly line. This basic concept is still utilized by today's companies. From soda manufacturers to chocolate producers to today's auto manufacturers, they too have been able to minimize production costs and sell mass-produced goods to consumers by implementing Ford's 100-year-old technique. Henry Ford made history by revolutionizing production using the moving assembly line, which enabled the Model T to dominate the American market for decades. Henry Ford's car changed the world by showing the potential of the assembly line. Leaping forward in time and slightly to the east, now we come upon China, who will be shaping the world for years to come. Nearly 20 years ago, the brutal crackdown of the Chinese military on dissident students in Tiananmen Square demonstrated just how precious few the freedoms are in that country. However, the government of China has changed since that time, encouraging broader economic policies at home and abroad. As a result of its growing population and economic status, China begins to use cars more than ever before. China's leadership respects the power of the car to change the country for the better. Over the last decade, it has authorized a massive buildup of infrastructure, particularly around cities in the south. The country's economic growth of the last 10 years has been staggering, with the average wage rate growing 19-fold, of course, using government statistics. The automobile is represented many ways in the West. It can be seen as a metaphor for sex, temptation, or any number of things. One of the most powerful things that a car symbolizes is freedom. If the Chinese economy continues to grow at its current breakneck speed, it may not be long until Beijing's Bruce Springsteen comes out with his own version of Thunder Road. To cap all this off, an obituary. Apparently one of our group members was good friends with a squirrel who, well, shuffled off this mortal coil as a result of cars. So, here it is, a squirrel obituary.
Teeth and the curse of this town were all in my mouth, only I don't know how.
That's about it, guys. I'd like to thank you for at least attempting to stay awake, and have a great rest of your summer. Later.
I fly like paper, get high like planes. If you catch me at the border